Well, it's party time in Manchester, and they're coming to the MEN Arena in their thousands to celebrate with the new champions, who thoroughly deserve their league title, everyone agrees. We're all looking forward to a real carnival atmosphere as the Storm and the Steelers make their way onto the ice. The Storm rounding off their season and receiving their trophy. It's Manchester's final game of the regular season. They've claimed top spot, of course. There's still plenty for Sheffield Steelers to fight for in terms of the playoff places. Expect them to be no pushovers tonight. So there's business to attend to, but there really is a cracking atmosphere, I must say, here. And we're about to get the festivities underway with the raising of a champion's banner. So let's cross to our MC for the night, John Hammond.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on their way to becoming the first English team to win the Secunda Ice Hockey Super League, the all-sport sponsored Manchester Storm, incidentally the country's only representatives in the European Hockey League, have scored more goals than any other team, conceded less goals than any other team, won more games than any other team, lost fewer games than any other team, have the best penalty killing record, have the best power play scoring record, have the league's best netminder, have accumulated the most points, and have the biggest and best supports. The all-sport sponsored Manchester Storm, ladies and gentlemen, are truly the champions, and in recognition of this, and for the first time ever here in the Storm shelter, ladies and gentlemen, we can proudly nail our colours to the mast. Ladies and gentlemen, hoist the banner!
There you go, it's a nice touch, isn't it? And a great atmosphere, as we say, inside the MEN Arena tonight. They've made the breakthrough, and finally they've got that first big prize, the Manchester Storm. Let's cross to the commentary box to hear what Mike Blaisdell from the Nottingham Panthers makes of it all. He's alongside Steve James.
They do things in style in the MEN Arena, and the team on the ice have been doing things in style all season, and Mike Blaisdell, it's been hard keeping up with them.
Well, you'd think they'd won something here. You look around this building. No, they've fantastic season for them all year. They've been so consistent, and you know, they really deserve this. And the crowd certainly appreciates it. It's a great place to play hockey, I think, Manchester.
So Manchester then are the champions. They're top of the league table. Cardiff and Nottingham are confirmed in second and third places, leaving a tight battle between Bracknell, Sheffield, possibly Ayr for fourth spot, Newcastle and London trying to avoid the wooden spoon. There are other games tonight. London play Cardiff, Bracknell visit Newcastle. It may well take the weekend games to decide the final placings. If, though, the table stays as it is now, then the two playoff groups would look like this. Champions Manchester would play against Bracknell, last year's Grand Slam winners Ayr, and the only team to beat the Storm twice in Super League this season, London. Cardiff, Nottingham and Sheffield, three teams with fierce rivalries there, and Newcastle would compete for the two semi-final places from Group B, but that could all change between now and Sunday. This game could very well have a big bearing because Sheffield want the 2 points to finish fourth above Bracknell, so they'll be going all out to try and win this game, and the referee for this match this evening is Andy Carson. And he'll get this game underway shortly, and the party will really get going at the end of this game, and the Manchester Storm will be keen that when they go into that party, when the trophy is delivered later on in the game, that they've won this game too. Little mascot there, just delivering the puck to start this game. He will have enjoyed his evening, no doubt. Waits to be seen whether the fans from Sheffield or the fans from Manchester will enjoy the next 60 minutes of ice hockey the most. Jeff Tomlinson getting the puck back on his side. Manchester, interesting starting lineup for Sheffield, with Ron Sugar recently back from injury, playing as a winger. He's out there with Jason Hayward and Tommy Plummer. And this is Stefan Katola for Manchester Storm. And Jablonski and Tomlinson on the starting lineup. This is Tomlinson. Tomlinson still going, trying to get the puck back into the slot. This is Shudra picking it up and just dumping it so he can finish his first shift. And Mike Blaisdell, interesting game between the two sides, I'm sure, in prospect.
Well, you know, Manchester have got to be fired up with that reception from their crowd, so I look to them to come out all guns blazing here. But, you know, Sheffield have a very good hockey club, and they've played well in Manchester this year.
Priestley, in fact, Sheffield the only side to come out of here twice this season without losing. They've had 2 draws in here, and they've won the last 2 games against Manchester back in their own rink. One after overtime, and the 5-0 win, of course, as well in the semi-final first leg of the Challenge Cup. Blair Scott with a big shot there. Ripped the back trying to get some wood on the puck, but couldn't manage that. It's still inside that zone, though. Sheffield still having to do some defending here. Frank Kovacs, another of their recent returnees from long-term injury, trying to find Ken Priestley.
Sheffield look to be making real quick changes, and they're not venturing too far into Manchester's zone right now. They look like they're playing a very defensive style at the moment.
Van der Horst gets it around the boards, picked up by T to Win, holding it on to his brother John Wynn. John Wynn with a big shot, saved by Peter Angelo. Marco Sten picks it up. Some interesting combinations of lines for Sheffield because of the injury problems that they've got coming into this game. This is Pierre Allard. Allard dropping it for Mike Morin. Out there with Dave Morrison as well. Dave Longstaff for Sheffield will go over into the corner. Does well, but it comes back for Manchester. Morin couldn't get the shot away. John Wynn did enough to throw him off.
Yeah, Steve, you mentioned the line combinations. It looks like with Shudra playing forward, I think Don McKee's probably thinking he'd like to get him skating a bit, get him in shape. He hasn't played for a while, and maybe that's a way for him to get his fitness back.
We've yet to have a break in play in this game. We've had over 2.5 minutes. I'm still waiting for the first stoppage. A number of changes on the fly for both sides as Manchester come forward once more. Dumping it in low. And in there, chasing in, trying to pick up the puck on the forecheck, Richard Uniacke, who's a former Sheffield Steeler, of course. Miller to Weaver. Jonathan Weaver still going, gains the zone, loses the puck. Big Ron Shudra, again taking things nice and easy. Might be caught out here, this is Tomlinson. Tomlinson with a shot, saved by Craig Lindsay. His first opportunity to show us what he can do here on Sky Sports, having joined from Scottish club Paisley Pirates.
Hasn't been many stoppages in play yet, has there?
Well, we're still waiting for our first one, and we've already had over 3.5 minutes. Not over physical at this stage. There is going to be the first stoppage as Craig Lindsay just covers up. And as far as the teams for tonight's game are concerned, Manchester have a couple of players on their bench that maybe won't see any ice time. In fact, Kelly Askew and Troy Niemeyer are injured, but want to be part of the experience. So they are 1 short on D. 5 defensemen for Manchester Storm. They've got 11 forwards, including top point scorer Tomlinson. He missed the game against London. Top goal scorer is Jablonski. And as I said, number 26, Richard Uniacke, was released by Sheffield just a month ago. Kirk Klein and Dorst looking pretty relaxed this evening, as well he might be under the circumstances. This is Manchester with Marco Sten with another shot to test Craig Lindsay. Sheffield with Wilson, now with Kovacs. Like Shudra, he had knee surgery earlier in the season. Wilson just rims it, looking to see where it might go. It's picked up comfortably by the Manchester Storm. Priestley is there to try and cause a problem, but it's not going to be difficult for Manchester to come forward with this now. Gaining momentum here. Stefan Kutsola. Offside is the call there. We can look at the Sheffield side for the game. Couple of injured players there. British legend Tony Hand is not on this list. Neither Craig Chapman or Derek Laxdell, who is another who might be out for the season, like Manchester's Kelly Askew. That remains to be seen. Several other players are playing with injury problems, and as we've seen already, Ron Shudra, normally a defenseman, is going to be playing on the wing as a forward for this game.
Yeah, it's a tough time of year for all the teams. I think a lot of teams are trying to rest a few guys and get ready for the playoffs. But you know, you still at the same time you want to go in with some confidence into the playoffs. So it's a tough situation for the coaches.
And as far as these two sides are concerned, there's a little matter of a second leg of the Challenge Cup semi-final to come at the weekend. So points to be picked up on the psychological side of things there too. Weaver getting it out to Brabant. Brabant with the shot, comes back off the boards. Rubachuk trying to get a hold of it, couldn't. Weaver though can. Weaver finding Brabant in the corner. Has Hoppen back on the blue line, doesn't use him. This is Weaver. And there's a penalty being called here. First power play of the evening coming up. Holding is the call.
I think Falkenhall has got a penalty for holding there. It's going to be tough on Sheffield tonight if they want to play this style. They're sitting back and they're letting Manchester come at them pretty strong. And with the speed Manchester has, you're going to wind up taking penalties. And they had a lot of pressure on that shift. This Lindsay's going to see some shots tonight, I think. Here Weaver comes out from behind the net. There's too much time on the puck for these guys, and I think, as I said before, Lindsay's going to see a lot of rubber tonight.
Maybe Håkan Falkenhall thought he might get away with that, seeing as how it's his birthday and all. Happy birthday to Håkan Falkenhall. He can sit down and think about his birthday cake whilst he's in there for the next 2 minutes. He's 31 today. First power play, and as we've already heard, Manchester pretty good when it comes to almost any statistic you can think of, including power play. They're the best when it comes to that, 21%. But reasonably good at penalty killing. Sheffield second best overall, although not so good on the road as they are at home. Only the 5th best record on their travels, Sheffield Steelers, when it comes to penalty killing. Van der Horst looking to pick up Courtney, who's playing on the penalty killing unit to start with. A player who's quite capable, along with Priestley, of getting short-handed goals, but they've changed very quickly actually, Sheffield. Once again, they're keeping up, taking very short shifts. Manchester still have Tomlinson out there with Katola and Rick Brabant and John Weaver. Turned in again. Sheffield happy to get the puck down to the other end.
Yeah, Sheffield, you can see that they're certainly got some forwards out of the lineup, because normally you wouldn't see Ed Courtney killing penalties, but tonight he was on the first shift killing penalties, which is not where he usually plays.
Chance here coming forward. This is Jablonski driving over the wraparound and gets it! Stuffs it in, take that! First goal of the evening. Is it going to be a big party for Manchester? Well, it started the right way. 1-0 to the Storm.
Well, it was a good play here. I think it's Katola coming up ice. No, it's Tomlinson. He gives it. Jablonski comes around the net. He's looking up ice. He wants to give it to someone, but then he decides he'll just stuff it. And Lindsay didn't. As he comes behind the net, you can see he looks for someone open high in the slot, as they call it, in the danger area. But he's all alone, and it banks off. Kind of a fortunate goal. Unlucky for the goalie here. He actually had the post covered quite well, but it ricocheted off his pad and in the net.
1-0 to the Manchester Storm against the Sheffield Steelers, and a disappointing moment for Craig Lindsay, who's been signed to cover for James Hibbett, the Sheffield goalkeeper who's injured. And Craig Lindsay, having come down from playing with the Paisley Pirates in Scotland, getting an early taste of how it goes in the Super League, especially when you come into the Manchester Storm shelter. And he's conceded that early goal, which won't necessarily have done a great deal for his confidence. We'll see. This is Miller. Miller with another shot, saved this time by Lindsay. Did well, covered his post again.
Sheffield's playing a real 1-4 check. They've got one man that'll venture into Manchester's zone, and then the 4 remaining players stay back. And it can be effective, but it can also lead to a lot of time spent in your own zone.
It's almost inviting the other team to come onto you.
Here's their, they'll only venture in when they have full possession of the puck. They're not going to forecheck hard tonight. They're playing a very, very cautious defensive style, Sheffield is.
Hurley racing to try and get hold of the puck. Didn't quite get there before Rob Wilson. Quite a few long-range shots coming in already from Manchester Storm. I suppose they're just testing out Craig Lindsay, wondering how he's going to cope with that.
Well, they don't know much about him. I think they want to get as many shots as possible on him. He's played in the British National League. They may feel that he's nervous tonight and playing in a big arena like this with a big crowd, and they're probably right. He probably is quite nervous.
There's the shots on target so far. 9 to Manchester, just 2 to Sheffield. That certainly tells the story of the first 7 minutes or so of this game. 1 goal, that's scored by Manchester. And Sheffield now inside that Manchester zone because they have the face-off there. Priestley got a good stick to that, but it came back on the Manchester side. Sten goes back behind Peter Angelo. Juniak will leave the puck for Sten to come forward. Still haven't cleared their zone yet. Eventually it did come out. This is Ed Courtney. Courtney, shot on target, saved by Peter Angelo.
This line of Courtney, Kovacs and Priestley, they will venture in and they will attack. They, with Priestley and Courtney, you got 2 of the big scorers in the league. I think they're 4th and 5th in the scoring race in the league right now, and they'll certainly attack.
Ed Courtney and Ken Priestley both right up there. Normally, of course, would play with Tony Hand, who's out injured at the moment. He therefore has slipped down the scoring table slightly. Tony Hand is 9th. And there's another icing. We'll go back to the other end. We've had 8 minutes so far. Rob Robinson of Manchester quite pleased, I should imagine. This is the shot that Ed Courtney had a few moments ago.
Well, here's, Courtney's one of these players that he'll let it go from anywhere. And he's got a good hard low shot here. Actually, Peter Angelo made a pretty good stop along that side post, and I think he does that as well as anybody in the league. He just throws that pad down so quickly, and he just doesn't give you anything, this guy.
Brabant with the big shot there. And another one coming in on Craig Lindsay. He's certainly not going to have a quiet evening, is he?
No, I think Manchester want to really test him, and there's going to be a lot of shots on goal in this game, especially in the Sheffield zone.
Brabant dumps it into the corner. Rubachuk will go in. Good check against the boards. Big shot coming in from Hoffman, and it goes high up into the crowd. So we'll have a face-off, and the crowd for this evening's game enjoying themselves, no doubt. That's the Manchester Storm bench's view of things this evening. There's Jonathan Weaver and Rick Brabant coming off after another effective shift, and Kurt Kleiner-Dorst just trolling behind his bench. Won't get too tense tonight, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I don't think so. I think they're obviously quite satisfied with their Superleague win, and now they just want to get the confidence rolling again for the playoffs here. They're not that they ever lack any confidence, but they want to go in strong in the playoffs.
Tee to win is behind Peter Angelo, gets it out in front, covered up by Frank Peter Angelo, the number 1 netminder in the league. 93% plus his save percentage for this season. Highly impressive. He's conceded less than 2 goals every game.
Yeah, and he's a real workhorse, as you say. He's played probably 95% or more of the Storm's games this year in the Super League, and that's very rare in this league. I don't think any other goalie even came close to that amount of minutes that he's played.
Tee to win against Tomlinson. Sheffield get the draw. Shot is well off target. This is Craig Short. Longstaff. Picked up by Manchester again. Not offside. It's back into the zone. Craig Lindsay turning into the corner. Jablonski didn't collect it. And this now is a chance for Longstaff to come forward. Gets a pass right across the tee to win. Out in front is Cal Short. And that was so close as well, because Frank Kovacs was coming in, had a good chance to score there. Jablonski just turns it into the corner so they can go for the line change, but that was very close there.
I don't know how that puck did not go in. Peter Angelo didn't know where it was, and Kovacs had just an open net to shoot at. It must have hit Peter Angelo somehow. I don't know how that puck did not go in though.
Suddenly there was 2 players right in front of Frank Peter Angelo. We're going to have another penalty, another power play coming up here. It's an interference call. And it's Ron Shudra who's been called for the interference. Another Manchester Storm power play coming up.
Yeah, I think Shooter just trying to hold his man up from getting some pressure on the Sheffield defenseman. So Shooter, as an ex-defenseman, was probably trying to help out his buddies back there on defense, holding up the Manchester forward, and he got caught on it.
Dominik has seen his side take 2 minors already in this game. We're just over halfway through the first period. He's also seen them concede a goal, and he knows that he hasn't got the full strength lineup that he would like to come into a game like this.
No, you do not want to be killing penalties all night against this Manchester Storm team either. They have the best power play in the league, and you can see why. They fire that puck at all times. They have great point shooters.
Weaver with Brabant. Weaver gets it around the boards. Rubachuk just holds up Falkenhall. This is Weaver. On the power play, 30 seconds gone. Stefan Ketteler. Still Stefan Ketteler. Brad Rubachuk's lost his helmet out there. This is Rubachuk, got a touch to it. Lindsay had to be alert to that as it was deflected by the helmetless Brad Rubachuk. Almost halfway through the period, through the power play.
Manchester look very organized on their power play. They seem to gain the zone very well. They rarely have to dump the puck. On that occasion they did, but usually they can carry it in by skating because they skate so well. All their players can skate so well, and they just gain the zone. They rarely have to dump the puck, but against Sheffield stacking the line, they may have to dump it a few times tonight.
This is Miller. Chris Miller finding Hoffman. It's Allard. Allard right around the plexiglass. Longstaff clearing the zone. Quite happy to dump it down to the other end. More quick changes from Sheffield, maintaining those short shifts out there. Morrison. Hurley will go down into the corner. Hurley with Falkenhall, that's quite a little challenge there. So not away yet, and Lindsay quite happy in the end to cover up there. Lindsay just going down on the puck inside the crease, and certainly that's more good pressure from the Manchester Storm on this power play. Just 15 seconds left. They scored on the first power play, but weren't able so far to get a goal on this one.
No, Sheffield's done a good job on that power play. They forced Manchester to dump the puck a few times, and that's not what Manchester like to do on their power play. They like to skate the puck into the zone. Sheffield stood them up quite well and forced them to dump it, and then they got the puck down. So they've done a good job so far, but they still got 15 seconds to go here.
8 minutes to go in this first period. Scott with the shot. Power play almost over. It's right out there in front though, and Priestley trying to dig it away, and in the end Wynn does clear it as Shudra comes back onto the ice. Courtney. 3 shots on that power play, no goals this time. Wynn. Shot from Kovacs. This is Blaisdell. Courtney again just dumping it in. Nobody going in there though for checking for the Sheffield Steelers. Quite happy to just wait. Frank Kovacs was just on the blue line on the edge of the Manchester zone, and that was all. This is Manchester coming forward though, and Tommy Plummer did well to come across with Rubachuk on his way through there. Kovacs will now chase this one in, gains possession. But once again, Manchester Storm are the side that come away with the puck. This is Rick Brabant. Tommy Plummer for Sheffield, coming forward with a head of steam. Plummer's a good pass as well, and the shot coming in from Hayward. Somehow Peter Blaisdell managed to keep that one out. Good work, still pressure here. Plummer turns it back into the slot. Back now to Cale Short, shot off target. And this is a concerted spell of pressure here from Sheffield. We've not seen too many of these. This is Cale Short again. Kovacs, 2 men in low, 3 men in low for Sheffield Steelers. Rick Brabant tries to get out of the zone. Is it going to get over that blue line? Just does. And now Manchester can come forward. It's 2-on-3 though.
Well, that was by far Sheffield's best shift of the night. They had some good pressure there and some good shots. Tommy Plummer made a great play on that 3-on-2, and they got some real pressure on the Manchester goalie.
Manchester dumping it in this time. Jablonski loses out though to John Wynn. John Wynn, that's a decent enough pass to Longstaff. Longstaff has Tita Wynn inside him, but deflected off the skate, and Manchester come forward with Jablonski. Kettler was aiming for the net, never got the pass.
Well, we got some good end-to-end stuff here. There hasn't been a lot of face-offs or delays in the game, so this game might not take too long tonight.
Not overly physical, not a huge number of checks going in there.
No, they're playing, you know, they're playing a real skilled game tonight. There's not a lot of physical work, but they're skating well, and you know, there's going to be a lot of chances on goal tonight. There's, you know, it's end-to-end stuff here.
Hoffman there involved with Courtney, who went down. No call for the penalty though. Kovacs has to wait because Courtney hadn't cleared the zone. And meanwhile, Manchester pick up possession. Blair Scott with the shot. It's the plexi. Drops for Ken Priestley. He gives it back to Blair Scott. He has another chance now to see what he can do. Will he dump it or will he try and bring it forward this time?
With Sheffield's injuries, they're going with what it appears to be 8 forwards because Scotty Allison has not taken any part in the game so far, and it's they're changing very short. They don't really have any set lines now, and I think you're going to see some tired Sheffield forwards by the end of this match.
Allison and Marlowe on the bench, but not getting the ice time at the moment as Stefan Kettler tries to come through. Richard Uniacke had lost his stick. It's a turnover here. Kettler with the shot and the goal. Second of the game. Stefan Kettler is the scorer. He makes it Manchester 2, Sheffield 0.
Well, I think we'll see on this goal that Sheffield commit the cardinal rule in your own zone. They cough the puck up in the middle ice zone, and Katola just walks to the dangerous area of that slot and fires one. I don't know, it might have went through the legs, but he's not going to miss too often from this range. Good shot, he hammers it through, and I think he beat him to the glove side. Looks like Lindsay got a piece of it, but he might have been screened a bit by Hurley as well. Went right through him. I don't think he saw that shot at all. Hurley did a great job of heading right for the net, and Katola knew he had a bit of a screen, I think, and he just let the shot go.
Stefan Kettler's 12th goal of the season, no assist on that. You could say the assist came from the Sheffield defenseman, but that would be harsh, I suppose. We've got 3:46 left on this first period. Kirk Wynand-Dorst, well, the pressure on him, whatever there was tonight, is lifting more and more with every second. There's a slight delay here, just sorting the ice out at that end. It seems to have been got back to the way that they're happy with, and so we're going to have the face-off shortly. Andy Carson at centre ice to drop the puck to restart this game in the first period with Manchester leading 2-0. Richard Uniacke will be in the face-off against Tita Wynn. They were teammates a month ago. Now they're on opposite sides, and as far as Richard Uniacke goes, when he was cut by the Sheffield Steelers, must be one of the best trade-ups that has ever happened for a player in British hockey history.
I think Sheffield would probably like him back right about now. They're so short. Oh, there's a big hit.
Miller with the shot, and it's, oh, that's a good save this time because it came to Jablonski, and Craig Lindsay made a good effort to stop the second save. There was a big hit on Jamie van der Horst, still down there, and in the corner, Rob Wilson just having words with Darren Hurley.
Well, it's a bit of an elbow there, and I think it might have called for a penalty. Puck goes into the corner, and I think, oh, they stopped him, showing the stoppage of play there. But Van der Horst came around the net, and Hurley rocked him pretty good with an elbow there. Jamie
Van der Horst, not the tallest of players at 5'10", but 260 £7 is quite a sizable player. He's given out a few hits in his time. That time, though, he really got caught, and it could easily have been a penalty, Mike.
Yes, and while Van der Horst is 207 pounds, the only problem there is Hurley's about 225 pounds, so Van der Horst lost that collision.
Penalty wasn't called, so Manchester Storm remain 5-on-5 against Sheffield Steelers. They have the face-off in that Sheffield zone, and it's Sheffield who will come forward with it. Giving it away again, this is Rick Brabant. Brabant just trying to get it through to Rubachuk. Sheffield getting it away this time. It comes straight back at them. Sten to Weaver. Weaver still going through. Weaver with the shots, and that would have been a great goal had it gone in. Brabant just cycles it back round into the corner. Looking for Rubachuk, got it back to Brabant. There's another effort coming in there as well from big Rob Robinson on the blue line. Sten back around the balls to Rick Brabant. Brabant to Sten. Marco Sten. Even the defensemen getting fancy with their skating now in the Sheffield zone. This is Weaver. Weaver put it out in front to Rick Brabant in the high slot area, but the shot didn't come away. So a spare stick out there too.
I think Sheffield really want to see how good their own goalie is tonight, because they're just letting Manchester set up in their zone and fire shots at them. It's certainly not a great performance so far by Sheffield. They're playing far too much time in their own zone.
This time they dump it in, and once again nobody goes in for Sheffield on the forecheck at all. Now Hayward does start to show some signs of putting pressure on the man with the puck for Manchester. Shudra happy just to turn it in once again. Hayward again on the forecheck, not really making great effort to get to the puck. Kettler, scorer of the second goal. And an offside call there as well. We've got 1:40 left on the period. It's Manchester 2, Sheffield 0 as the Manchester Storm change lines once again.
I think Don McKee is probably over there shaking his head, wondering, you know, we get two penalties against, one's just a soft little interference call. Their player rocks one of my guys with an elbow, and he's almost knocked unconscious there, and there's no call. So he's probably rolling his eyes a bit there and wondering what's happening out here.
Not sure whether he's looking up to heaven or looking up to the scoreboard in that shot. This is Wilson. Nice tee to win. Great talent, tee to win. Suffered an awful lot with illness earlier on in the season after Sheffield came back from the Continental Cup. One of the players that suffered glandular fever in the Sheffield camp. Wilson. John Wynn, his brother, also suffered, although not as badly, with the virus that laid Tita Wynn low. Both of them came from Italy last year. Mike Morin for Manchester to the blue line. That's Dave Morrison. Morin turning around for Pierre Allard. Moving it well at the moment, Manchester, and keeping possession. Now though they've given it up, and this is Tita Wynn coming forward. Hasn't got any real support and needs to go back into his own zone to find some space to get some momentum. Now he has it. Wynn. Plenty of Manchester players though back there to cover the pass. Now though they might have caught themselves out a little bit here. Rob Robinson was the player doing the acrobatics on the ice to stop the shot. Priestley. Falkenhall. Again, just as you think that the Sheffield Steelers are coming forward at a pace, they just decide to dump the puck, and then the momentum, and they don't really seem to be overly keen on getting forward a lot of the time.
Well, they seem to dump the puck in, and then even when they have some pressure, they still back off, and I think it's going to be a very long night for the Sheffield Steelers if they don't get a little more hungry on that puck.
Well, that's Kirk Clonendorf to Don McKee, the two coaches. Both will have very different views of that first period. We'll look back at the goals and get reaction to that first period coming up here on Sky Sports straight after the break.
And it's so far so good for the new champions. The Storm leading by 2-0 and out shooting Sheffield pretty comfortably as well. The penalty minutes in that first period all served by the Sheffield Steelers. And Mike Blaisdell is with me in the studio. Mike, is it pretty much dictated by the injuries that Sheffield have had this game so far?
Yeah, I think the keys to their lineup. Laxdal's out, a good forward. He's been out for quite some time now. Allison hasn't taken any part in the game. Tony Hand is missing. They don't feel, I think, that they have a lot of offensive threats up there other than Priestley and Courtney. So they're sitting back, which is a tough way to play against Manchester in here because they come at you so hard. And I just think they should probably go after Manchester a little bit, at least send two guys the odd time. They don't risk anyone. They send one down cautiously, then he backs off as well. And what Manchester does is they come up with all that speed, and they're gaining the zone, and then they're so quick down low, and Sheffield are playing the whole night in their own zone.
Manchester obviously looking to impress in front of their home fans. The first time they've played in front of them since they've won the league title. What about that first goal? Will the netminder be a little bit disappointed when he looks back at this one?
Well, I think it was a good play by Jablonski. As you see, he's coming wide with the puck. Now he gives a good look up. He sees if anyone's open. He doesn't see anyone. And now as he comes around, he just stuffs it quickly. And that's one of those ones I think the goalie should have probably had that one, really. He probably could have, if you watch it, he probably could have laid his stick flat on the ice. There's no way Jablonski's going to get the puck up high. He's going to have to come low with it. And I think he didn't have his stick flat on the ice. And, he'll probably wish he could have that one back.
Sure, Sheffield outshot, 18-8 in that first period, but they did have some good chances, and I know you were thinking what happened to Frank Kovac's shot. I think we can see that it probably hit the post.
Did it? Oh, I thought it was in from where I was looking, and I just couldn't believe it. The puck, I think it hits a skate or something, comes out, and then you'll see Kovac's just come out of nowhere, and he's all alone as the puck comes out. There's a first shot, and then here's Kovac's. He shoots it. I think Peter Angelo got a piece of it. It might have hit the back of his skate, but
sure. This
is the way this guy's been playing all year, and he, you call it lucky sometimes, but you make your own luck. And this guy, I think it rattled around. It might have hit the post, but it never did cross the line. And that's Frankie Pietrangelo's season summed up right there. Things are going his way.
If that was disappointing for Sheffield, then the second goal was very disappointing, wasn't it? Came from the turnover.
Yeah,
and you can sure the coach won't be happy about this.
No, I mean, cardinal rule, keep it out of the middle ice area. I think it hits something here, but ricochets, and then Catola picks the puck up, and then he gets into that dangerous area. But Hurley did a good job. He gets in front of the goalie's viewing area, and I can't really blame the goaltender on that one. This goaltender, though, is going to see a lot of shots tonight.
Okay, well, so far it is quite comfortable, isn't it, for the Manchester Storm? Sheffield would expect perhaps to pick things up a little bit, certainly in the second period to come. But let's take a brief pause now and look back over some of the action from the last few days in Rink Roundup.
Cardiff's defeat in Bracknell, their third in a row, finally handed the Super League title to Manchester. Junkin's early goal set the tone, and the Bees were 3-0 up within 15 minutes. Chin pulled one back for the Devils, but when Ward put this one in, they were 5-1 down. A late rally in the third put the Devils within touching distance. Matulik's goal made it 5-4, but it was too little too late. Manchester were uncatchable. Sheffield turned on the style with their highest shots on goal total in the Super League this season. 47 rained down on Foster's goal and 5 went in. The first came from Scott Allison, with the Wynn brothers providing the help. It was a great team performance all round, but Falcon Hall provided the goal of the night. This made it 4-1. Hand added another in the last frame. Bracknell are hitting good pre-playoff form. This 5-1 win was started off by Jeff Johnson with a fine finish. Jewin added another before Mitchell pulled this one back, his third goal of the season. But Bracknell's third straight win of the week was confirmed when Schulte got the last goal. Nottingham's defeat handing Cardiff second place. For the 7th time this season, the London Arena witnessed an overtime game. Travis Thiessen put the Knights a goal up in the first. Priestley and Longstaff both scored for Sheffield before Harding forced overtime, but it stayed at 2-2. Going into the last 6 minutes, Newcastle were 2-0 down. but a titanic turnaround was begun by a sensational skate by Mike Bodnarchuk. Black grabbed the equalizer, and then he struck again to give the River Kings the win. On Tuesday, London beat Manchester for the second time at the London Arena. Hasselblad blasted in the opener. Manchester hit back with 4. This one from Ketela made it 2-1. But London with an awesome comeback tied it at 4-4 to force overtime, and Nick Poole handed the Storm their 3rd defeat on the bounce.
And let's just bring you up to date on the games that are playing tonight. It's goalless in the second period between the London Knights and the Cardiff Devils, and it's 1 apiece after the first between Newcastle and Bracknell, and of course Manchester leading here against Sheffield by 2-0. And Mike, the Nottingham Panthers are short of 3rd spot, but I guess you're looking towards what, Sunday's game, the second leg of the Challenge Cup semi-final against Cardiff. There's only a goal in it, so it's going to be tight, but you've got it in your barn.
Yeah, obviously we're pleased it's going back in our rink. The problem with that is they've beaten us nearly every time. I think they have beaten us every time in our rink. So it's going to be a tight one, and Cardiff are a good team on the road wherever they play, and we respect them very much, and this one goal is nothing really.
Looking ahead to the playoffs and the situation there, it looks like you'll face Cardiff again.
Yeah, that's the only team that we're really guaranteed of facing. It's everything else is up for grabs, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th could all be decided in the next day or so. And we really don't know who we're going to play, but we know we've got Cardiff, which is not really a team that we relish facing again in the playoffs now.
What are your feelings about who could be the surprise packages in the playoffs, perhaps, Mike?
Well, I think Bracknell have really come into form, and I think talking to the other coaches in the league, everyone feels that they're as good as anybody right now. So we've got everybody's got their hands full with Bracknell. I always think Ayer's going to come along one of these days and start playing well. They haven't been playing well.
You said that a couple of weeks ago, I know, but they just seem to be stuck in a bit of a rut at the moment, don't
they have some injury problems, and they really miss Sean Byram, their big centerman. He's very strong. He's been very good against us for the last few years, and I think he's a real miss for them, and I don't think he's going to play again this year, so that could be a real problem for them. And obviously their goaltending may not be quite as good as last year, but they still got some guys there that know how to win, and I can't see them not turning up a notch.
Okay, but it's the beginning of a new season, as they say, isn't it? So everything to play for. Competition time now on Ice Hockey Live. A great prize coming up surrounding the playoff weekend, so look out for that. But first of all, let's sort out the winners from last week's competition. We asked you which team was runner-up in the Super League last season to the Ayr Scottish Eagles. The answer, of course, were this season's winners, the Manchester Storm. And the winners were Mr. Paul Evans from Sheffield and Miss S. McNally from Manchester. Well done to you. You both win a year's subscription to Total Hockey magazine. And thanks to everyone for entering. Now, if you haven't already got your tickets for playoff final weekend, then here's a great chance to win a VIP weekend to the playoffs over the Easter weekend. Pens and papers at the ready. Nick Rothwell has the details.
We have a pair of tickets to this season's playoff semis and final at the MEN Arena in Manchester. Accommodation will be provided on Saturday evening and will give you £100 towards your travel expenses. And you'll also be invited to the post-final party. You need to tell us who did Ayr beat in last season's playoff final. Was it A, Manchester, B, Cardiff, or C, Bracknell? Who were last season's beaten finalists? Manchester, Cardiff, or Bracknell? Call the competition hotline on 0660 116606. That's 0660 116606. Calls cost 25 pence, and if you don't pay the phone bill, please ask permission before you call. Lines close midnight on Sunday, and we'll announce the winner next Thursday. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. Before the playoffs, we have the regular season to complete even, and it's Manchester's last game of the regular season. They're up against the Sheffield Steelers. Party time here at the MEN Arena, and the Storm fans certainly enjoying their evening so far. The Storm leading Sheffield by 2-0. We're back with the second period after this break. And we're very much enjoying the carnival atmosphere here in the MEN Arena in Manchester. The crowd saluting the champions of Super League. They've waited a long time for this moment, and they'll enjoy seeing their team presented with a trophy at the end of this game as well. Manchester leading by 2-0 against Sheffield, and it has to be said, looking pretty comfortable at the moment. But there's plenty to go. Still 40 minutes of hard, competitive ice hockey to come. Let's get back to the commentary box, to Mike Blaisdell and Steve James.
Both sets of skaters just still limbering up, ready for the period to come. The second period, Manchester leading 2-0. Both sets of coaches actually, presumably, like yourself, Mike, starting to think about rosters for next season. And news that we've got this wage cap coming in for the next season, £500,000, the figure that Kurt and Don and yourself are going to have to work with. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's it's just a sign of the times, perhaps, and the owners of the clubs are wanting to get things right in the books, and the problems that Sheffield had. I think everyone wants to get things under control a little bit, and it will certainly affect the roster size, perhaps, and but everyone is going to spend the money the way they see fit. So we'll see what happens. I think they'll all be competitive teams in the Superleague, though.
Some interesting times to come on that front too. This is Hoffman with possession at the start of this second period. Falkenhall gives Tomlinson a good shove there. See if we have a different set of tactics from Sheffield in this second period. Manchester with possession here with Jablonski. Trying to find Tomlinson. Hoffman again. Dumps it in this time. And the Sheffield Steelers have a little bit of time here just to consider their options. Rick Brabant, Weaver out there at the moment with Rubachuk for the Manchester Storm. Priestley and Courtney out there. Kovacs has just left the ice though for the Sheffield Steelers. Rick Brabant turning it back in. Falkenhall going in. Ron Shudra is playing now with Priestley and Courtney at the start of this second period. Blair Scott with a shot. Save, but the rebound came out.
Well, Sheffield looked a little sharper this period. I think Manchester had that real jump from the crowd's reception at the start, and perhaps they're going to come back into this game and make it a little more interesting than it was in the first period.
Well, a goal would certainly be the tonic that Sheffield need. They're not going to get it like that. They've given the puck away. Weaver getting it out in front. This is Hayward, though, who can clear the zone. Does no more than that, though. Just clears the zone and then skates off for the line change. And once again, they've given possession straight back to the Manchester Storm. Morin, not much of a hit there, really. Wilson and Morin, all very softly stuff. Allard. Close down. That's Shudra on the far side. Shudra just clearing it out. Kurt endorsed that.
I think Shudra just shot the puck into his own bench and
right side here,
hit one of his own players there. They're probably they can't afford any more injuries. They don't want to be hitting their own guys with pucks in their bench.
Well, Ron Shudra may, of course, be playing forward tonight, but once a defenseman, always a defenseman, and he obviously decided just clearing it out of his zone was the way to do it, but went a bit astray. Ron Shudra, nice to see him back, though, after all the injury problems he's had this year.
Yeah, a knee injury, a serious knee injury and surgery, and I think it's always tough to come back for a player after that surgery. They're a little bit tentative sometimes, and I think Shudra wants to get a few games under his belt before the playoffs start. But he seems to be doing a pretty good job up and forward tonight.
Well, he dressed for the Challenge Cup game recently, had no shifts in that first leg against Manchester Storm. That's Craig Lindsay making his first appearance for the Sheffield Steelers in nets, having signed this week. And last year he was playing with the Memphis River Kings. He was 7th ranked in the BNL goalies list this season. Manchester's just picking up things a little bit here, and it's worked because they've got possession with Allard. Comes off the blocker there. Kovacs. Got it clear, straight to a Manchester player once more though. Hoffman, he dumps it in. Mike Moran will chase in. Kaelshaw has plenty of time just to remain almost score Morrison as he went for his line change, the Manchester captain. But this is Longstaff. Longstaff just dropping it to Kovacs. Kovacs back to the blue line. The shot coming in from Falkenhall, taken comfortably by Frank Pietrangelo.
Well, Frank Kovacs is getting a lot of ice time tonight. He started the period, he took the first shift, and he went off, I think, just for that short shift that Shooter replaced him for, and then he's back out again. So he's going out every second shift. And he's been injured for most of the season. Again, maybe Don McKee is trying to get him in better fitness for the playoffs, so he's going to play him a lot tonight.
He was back just a couple of weeks before Ron Shudra. He's got himself a couple of points, a goal and 2 assists since.
Well, they've missed big Frank Kovacs in their lineup. He adds a physical presence, and he's a pretty good goal scorer as well when he gets a chance, and he takes the body quite well, and he's the big guy in front of the net. So I think Sheffield are very happy to have him back in time for the playoffs, as they are happy to have Ron Shooter. And sooner or later they'll get Shooter back on defense where he really belongs.
But now they've got Courtney out there with Plummer and Priestley. Plummer going in against Richard Juniak for the face-off. Manchester Storm winning the draw. Miller. This is Richard Juniak. Tommy Plummer. And Courtney with the long pass. Priestley will chase that one all the way in. Miller, is he going to get the touch first? Miller did win the race, and that means that we're going to have a face-off at the other end. Frank Pietrangelo has been the #1 netminder almost all season. Recently, Stevie Lyle of Cardiff just replaced him for a short while, but he's also, because he's played more games than anybody else, faced more shots than anybody else, 1,040 of them, and he's saved so many of them. 93.1% is his save percentage for this season. Lets in just 1.94 goals per game, does Frankie Pietrangelo, and he's been a big part in Manchester's success.
Yeah, fabulous season for him, and you know, it's pretty tough to pick anyone else in the Super League for most valuable player. I think he may have it sewn up for his play in the league this year.
Miller helps if you've got a good defence in front of you, and certainly that's the case with Manchester Storm too. Wilson for Sheffield. Helped on out of the zone there by Tommy Plummer. Manchester trying to find their groove again at the start of this second period. Haven't really got going like they did at times in the first period. We've had almost 5 minutes of the second period. This is Priestley to Plummer. Plummer taking on Blaisdell. Still Tommy Plummer, and in the end he just couldn't keep the edge on his skates as he tried to get past the big man. Tommy Plummer, a real workhorse of a player who served Sheffield well for a long time now.
Well, he made a pretty nifty little move here. Then he drove wide, and it looked like was it Brabant there or Scott got the puck or a stick on him there. It was Blair Scott got a stick on him just as he was driving to the net and knocked him off balance. But pretty good defensive play as well by Blair Scott. But looks like Tommy took a stick in the mouth there. He's not very happy there. I think he's swearing there, Steve. I don't know. I thought I read his lips.
I cannot lip read.
I'm sure there's someone out there that can lip read.
Well, I don't lip read in Canadian. That's my problem.
I think it's also an English phrase he was using there as well, though.
We shall say no more. This is Manchester coming forward with Stefan Kettler. Kettler just ran out of time, but he's still got the puck. Gets it back to Jablonski. Jablonski runs into Longstaff, and this now is Ron Shudra. Rob Robinson for Manchester Storm. The game just picking up a little bit, and turned in low. Of course, there's a big party to come here at the end of this game when they present the Monteith Bowl to the Manchester Storm as the third winners of Super League. Ayr and Cardiff the winners in the first 2 seasons. Cardiff first, went to Wales, went to Scotland, now it's come to England. Rob Robinson once again. Jablonski there with Weaver and Brabant. This is Weaver, has Brabant there too, shoots himself, made the save, did Craig Lindsay. That was asked of him, and he came up with the right answer. Suddenly Sheffield going forward. They are committing themselves a little bit more in this second period, Sheffield. Weaver again, Weaver with another shot, just off target. Could be another shot coming up here as well. Priestley, though, holding up Rubachuk. Weaver, though, has another chance. Weaver, again, not quite able to get the goal. This is Miller, defenseman jumping up into the play. And there's the goal! Comes off Rubachuk. Rubachuk's 57th goal, the all-time leading goal scorer for the Manchester Storm, gets another. And Lindsay couldn't stop that one. It's 3-0 Storm.
Again, some very good pressure from Manchester, and they're starting to take the body a little more, but they move the puck so well down low, and you see Rubachuk, he gets himself in front, keeps his stick on the ice. Really, Ed Courtney should have probably gotten his stick off the ice. You can see Courtney, that was his man. Ed Courtney's just standing there really not being very effective on his checking there. He should have come out and tried to get his stick off the ice, but Rubachuk does that very well. He gets to the net, and he's always got his stick on the ice. And those Storm players, they can find the pass through traffic like that. And this is looking like a long night for Sheffield.
Assist there for Miller and for Rick Brabant. 3-0. Weaver and Brabant still out there with Rubachuk. And we scored the goal. They kept the same line on Manchester. Priestley and Courtney still out there too as well, actually, for Sheffield, with John Wynn. This is Wilson having to scamper back now. Craig Lindsay holding up Rubachuk Wilson. And this is a real opportunity again for Manchester. Rubachuk with another shot. Still Rubachuk gets it into the side of the netting. Morrison's out there. He's trying to stuff it in somehow. Courtney holding him up. Comes to Mike Morin. This is Robinson. Robinson to Morin. And Sheffield cleared the zone.
Like one thing I've noticed about the Sheffield goaltender, Lindsay, he doesn't freeze the puck very often. He likes to put it back into play, and I think his Sheffield teammates don't want him to do that right now.
Oh, great goal! Mike Morin! No chance for Craig Lindsay to do anything with that one. It was past him in a shot, and it's 4-0 Manchester Storm.
Well, this is what you call a bullet. Morin steps over the line, he's got some time to shoot it, and he lets it rip. Really, the goaltender, I think he just was cleanly beaten on this shot. It didn't hit anything. Just a clean, hard shot there. That puck just zipped off his stick there, and there wasn't much of a chance for that goaltender.
65 seconds between those two goals, and just when it looked as though maybe things were going better at the start of the second period for the Sheffield Steelers, those two quick goals have brought them right back on their heels, and not surprisingly perhaps, Don McKee wants to have a word with his players. He's called a timeout.
Well, Don, I'm sure he's very disappointed right now in the play of his team in front of that their goaltender. They're backing up. They're letting Manchester rule the roost here. They're not really creating any chances themselves, and it's you can't play hockey like that very long. And the other thing they've got to worry about is Manchester getting confidence for the second leg of the Challenge Cup, because they are 5 goals down, but they're very lucky they're not playing that second leg tonight.
Well, certainly they'd just be the 1 goal behind now after those 4. The task they have in front of them is to score 6 more than Sheffield on Sunday, and you'd think that would be pretty hard, but in this game so far, and certainly Peter Angelo has not had a great deal to do tonight, has he, so far?
No, I think there's cobwebs beginning to form on him back there. He hasn't had to move yet, but he had maybe 2 shots to save in the first period, and then it's been all one-way traffic since then. Here they come again, Manchester.
Van der Horst. Let's see if there's some extra steel in the Sheffield players now, following those words from Don McKee. Scott. Van der Horst around the boards. Mike Morin, though, the scorer of that goal, picks it up. Cleared. Rob Robinson, the Manchester defence by and large are having a reasonably comfortable time of it this evening. Not a great deal of pressure on them when they're carrying the puck forward. Allard. Manchester certainly tend to put a lot of pressure on in the opponent's zone. This is Allard. Robinson with the shot. Just poked away into the corner there. Kovacs. Now a chance to come forward. This could almost be a 3-on-2 here for the Sheffield Steelers. Longstaff saw the player going for the net, Kovacs, but couldn't pick him out. Still trying to dig it off those boards. Kovacs turns it into Longstaff again. Longstaff tried to drop it back there for Hayward. And in the end, it's partially cleared, only to the blue line to Falkenhall. Longstaff trying to get away from Morrison. And that's going to be a penalty, a trip on Dave Morrison. Another power play coming up. While we wait for this to be just settled, let's go down and hear from Nick Rothwell by the side of the rink.
Steve, you know, Manchester all season have constantly averaged over 7,000. Now there's over 10,000 people here to see them lift the title cup. And with me, a few big supporters. Chris, how long have you been supporting Manchester?
Oh, about from the first season.
What was it like to see the pennant go up?
Hey, it's great.
Well, awesome, eh? And Paul, for you, you've been here right from the start as well, haven't you?
Right, yeah. Yes.
And do you think this silverware, is this the first? And it's obviously not going to be the last, the Manchester Storm win.
I sincerely hope it's not going to be the last, but it's nice to be here tonight when they're winning the trophy and to be here for the entire crowd and for the guys on the ice.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, you can see that there's a couple of players gone there. There was a tripping call. Hayward and Longstaff both have been given penalties. And so we're going to have a double power play coming up, I presume, here. Dave Longstaff, you can see the furthest away from the camera.
Yeah, I think Longstaff got a little frustrated here and just got the little chop down on his ankles and brought, there it is right there, down goes Morrison. Just before that, Haywood took a bit of a slash, I think, in front of the net from Robinson, and then got a stick, and it looked like he got a stick up in his mouth, and I don't think the referee saw it, and I think that's why he was upset. You can see the little cut on his mouth. He's not very happy with the referee right now, but the referee can't see everything out there, and you know, unfortunately for Haywood, he did not see that, and he let the referee know that he wasn't very happy, and now he's in the box. I think he might have got a 10-minute misconduct there.
And he's still getting things sorted out here. It's a misconduct penalty, so in fact it's only going to be 5-on-4, but it's a 10-minute misconduct, as you thought, Mike, for Jason Hayward. The minor goes to Longstaff, and so we're going to be playing 5-on-4, but Jason Hayward won't play any part in the game himself personally for the next 10 minutes. The power play just for the 2 minutes then.
No, and that hurts Sheffield even more. They lose another forward, and they're short enough as it is on at forward, and this is going to be another, they're going to have to weather the storm, as you say now.
I'd trademark that one if I were you. Well, they've got to be careful too that in trying to defend this penalty they don't get over enthusiastic and give away another one, Sheffield, but this is a chance. Courtney forced away into the corner. Miller will follow him all the way there. Courtney certainly threw off Miller nicely, didn't he? John Wynn gets the shot on Frankie Pietrangelo, but he was alert to that one.
Good stuff there from Sheffield, killing the penalty. You got guys like Courtney and Priestley out there, and John Wynn's got a heck of a shot here. He lets it rip through traffic, and they're just hoping to get a goal on this Pietrangelo and somehow turn this thing around, or you know, plug the hole in the dike for a while.
Frank Pietrangelo hasn't played the last couple of games. He's had a little bit of a rest. Didn't play in Cardiff or in London, where Timo Cowanham was in nets.
Seems to be getting a bit of a rest tonight, other than that shot and a few others, but I don't think he's going to be very exhausted after this game.
Last Super League game for the Manchester Storm of the season. They've got the Challenge Cup against Sheffield to come at the weekend, then it's the playoffs for Manchester, and you would imagine they would get somewhere towards the climax of the season, which of course will be here in the MEN Arena. Blair Scott. Tomlinson skates and leaves the puck behind. Scott will come forward. This is Jablonski. Jablonski gains the zone, turns it into the corner. Comes back to Weaver. Tomlinson. Allard gives it back to Tomlinson. Jablonski was right out there in front. And Tomlinson decided he was going to try and get all the way himself there. Sheffield breaking out with Kovacs. Comes straight back though. This is Jablonski. Jablonski, can he get his shot away? He can't. He's being held up. In fact, there's an offside call there. We've got 30 seconds left on the Manchester Storm power play, and this isn't one of their more successful power plays of the evening.
No, it wasn't. They haven't got a lot of good scoring chances, but I'm still impressed with Manchester. Every time they have a power play, when a player gets the puck, he's always got someone moving, and they get open for each other. They never stand around. They move the puck, and their passing is so crisp.
They love it here. Certainly they're going to have a good time tonight. It looks like their side is going to win. It's 4-0 at the moment. Things could change, but you would imagine that they would win, and then the trophy will be presented later. And certainly that's what so many of them have come to see. The Super League champions, the Manchester Storm, moving forward again.
Well, Manchester are quite capable of running this score up if Sheffield let them. They're like a good boxer, Manchester, that they think they have you wobbled. They go for the kill, and you know, they won't let up. I'll tell you right now, we've been on a 6-0 scoreline against them. They will not stop till the final buzzer.
They put 10 past Newcastle. There you can see David Longstaff coming back out, so it's full strength once again. End of the power play. One power play goal so far for the Manchester Storm this evening. Uniac turning it back around. Short taking his man down. Manchester though have somebody else there to take possession once again. Hurley and Brabant Hurley and Katola both in the corner. Richard Uniac, but they're not going to get it out this time. The puck is frozen. Having said that, they were 4-1 up against London on Tuesday and went down in the end 6-5 in overtime. So you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And Sheffield have some guys that can put the puck in the net. But Manchester looks so collected tonight, and they're playing well defensively. As soon as Sheffield get the puck, they've got pressure on that puck carrier, and then they seem to pick up everything around them. Sheffield don't have room to breathe out there when they do get possession of the puck.
Maxim wave going round the Manchester arena. That's usually a sign that they're pretty confident their side are in control here. And there's not too much tension in the arena. Not with the scoreline at 4-0 midway through this game. Kovacs is for Sheffield. Oh, that's not a good clearance at all. And a shot coming in there, and it's loose outside in that slot area. Goes back to Hoffman. Another shot coming in from Miller. Hoffman. Ken Priestley has time to collect the puck in the corner. Right across the ice, inside his own zone to Wilson. Sheffield coming forward here with Frank Kovacs. Kovacs stopping. Again, though, the pass doesn't find its target, and it's Manchester who can take advantage. Morrison into Morin. Falkenhall holding him up. Pass in the right direction, nobody there this time. Miller. Almost seems sometimes like there's a magnet in that puck which takes it automatically to Manchester Storm sticks whenever it breaks free. Once again, the team in black have it. Sheffield working hard at the moment here to try and get something going. This is Tommy Plummer, leaving it for David Longstaff. So that penalty a few moments ago. Ron Shudra chasing it into the corner with Rick Brabant. Checks him against the boards. Still Sheffield have possession though. Plummer held up by Miller. That was where Longstaff got himself in trouble a short while ago. Battling with Hoffman this time. And a birthday boy, Hakan Falkenhorn, has to go back and tidy up for the Sheffield Steelers. Gets them going forward again, comes off the boards nicely for Longstaff. Longstaff trying to go past Hoffman, setting himself up for the shot. Couldn't get it in the top shelf. Still pressing though, Shudra. Yet to get a point since he came back from injury. Ron Shudra in the corner. Plummer cycles it back for Longstaff. Longstaff behind Peter Angelo, Shudra out in front. Van der Horst back on the blue line. Can't get away from Rick Brabant. And in the end, the referee calls a halt to things. We're going to have the face-off with 6:53 left on the period. 4-0 Manchester.
Well, that was a very good shift by Sheffield. David Longstaff especially was very strong on the puck. And here a little hook from Brabant, and I think he did dive a little bit, and Carson spotted the dive, I think, and was not going to give Brabant the penalty there.
There's David Longstaff. There have been a couple of calls for Manchester that could have gone against them tonight. Certainly Darren Hurley earlier on with the elbow, but no penalties called against the Manchester Storm so far by Andy Carson. Tomlinson has Kettler to one side, Jablonski to the other, comes out to Kettler. Lindsay made the save this time. Van der Horst tried to get Manchester on their heels, but once again they end up being quite comfortable in their own zone in possession of the puck. This is Robinson. Wynn to Tida Wynn. You just get the impression that John Wynn and Tida Wynn may be the only wins that Sheffield are going to have in this arena tonight.
You said it.
Van der Horst. This is Tida Wynn. Certainly a player that's impressed this season, I think, in the Sheffield side. Gets the shot that time. Another one coming in there. Still have possession though, Sheffield. Things going just a little better for them since that goal, that fourth goal, that really put Manchester, not quite, but almost out of sight in this game. Weaver getting it through to Darren Hurley, held up by Falcon Hall. There's Tommy Plummer turning it across ice, but there's nobody there again for the Sheffield Steelers. Not committing too many men forward. Hurley with a shot straight into the midriff, and Lindsay has to come a long way out into the slot to cover that one up.
Well, Craig Lindsay's faced a lot of shots tonight, and that was one time when I think he wisely froze the puck up. I mean, he's been putting the puck back into play most of the time tonight, and here's the time the puck squirted out from on the initial shot, but he froze it up, and I think his teammates appreciate that right now. They'd rather have a few face-offs, slow the tempo down, because the way Manchester can skate, and the shortness on the Sheffield bench, they could be in for even more goals against if they let the game just flow.
Conceded 4 goals. He's faced 30 shots so far, Craig Lindsay, in this game. Hoffman. This time the puck almost going in favour of Courtney. There you can see the breakdown of those 30 shots so far, very much in Manchester's favour. Not far off, 3-1, but that's a goal! Somehow got through Peter Angelo, and Ed Courtney is a man that you really cannot keep down, and somehow he managed to beat the great netminder himself.
Yeah, the puck takes a funny hop off the glass, squirts out to Courtney. He makes a nice little move there. He shoots it, and you know what happened? The puck kind of hit something, and Peter Angelo was expecting a real hard shot, and he didn't get it. It came in slow, and the slowness of the pace took him off on that shot. Peter Angelo was expecting Courtney, who's got a great shot. He was expecting the bullet there, and I think it hit something in front, and then look at it, slows right down, just creeps over the line. But there's a sign of a goal scorer when you can get one like that.
And where Ed Courtney goals go, you usually find either Tony Hand or Ken Priestley on the list as well with an assist. This time it was Priestley, and with no hand about, it was Cale Short who got the other assist.
Well, if we were playing up in Scotland right now, Tony Hand would probably get an assist as well.
You may say that. I couldn't
just
possibly
kidding.
comment.
Sorry about that, Tony, if you're watching back at home.
Well, the Manchester Storm crowd are still cheering and still happy. I don't think they're overly worried at the moment with Ed Courtney getting the goal back, but as we said, they led 4-1 against London just a couple of nights ago, and in the end lost 6-5 after overtime. Now that would spoil the party later on, and all those balloons would be floating off, I'm sure. Champions, and that's exactly what the Manchester Storm are. Super League champions, third season of Super League. We've now had 3 different champions, and the Manchester Storm were favourites at the start of the season. In fact, the very first Super League game we showed on Sky Sports this season was Manchester Storm against the Sheffield Steelers, and Manchester won 6-3 on that occasion. That was way back on the 1st of October, and since then it's gone pretty much Manchester's way against Sheffield whenever they've met each other, until the last 2 games, when Sheffield have won. Morrison Gets the puck back. Longstaff. Well, Frank Pietrangelo doesn't like to be beaten, I'm sure. But I don't think it'll let him be ruffled too much by that goal by Ed Courtney. Now the question is, can Sheffield really get themselves back in the game with another one? Frank Kovacs down the left-hand side. Didn't get the puck, got his man Blair Scott. Now comes out of the zone, can't play it, of course, he'd be offside. Scott. Still Scott. Still Blair Scott. Gets it to Morin. Morin with a shot, and Tommy Plummer's skates were in the way.
Manchester look dangerous just about every time they come up ice. They move the puck so well. They get open for each other so well. And we've said it before how well they skate, but their speed and passing just seems to break a team down, especially a tired team like Sheffield right now.
3:21 to go.
Good pass by Blair Scott here, and Morin, you know, we saw his shot. He likes to let it go, and then the puck just hits something on the way to the net, or else, you know, another good chance to score a goal there. But look at, they're hungry tonight. I think that 5-0 loss in Sheffield, they want to make sure it's payback time, and they're like vultures around that net.
Well, they really need the goals when it comes on Sunday. Craig Lindsay having conceded 4 so far. In this particular game, it's Manchester Storm 4, Sheffield Steelers 1, as Rick Brabant and Ken Priestley go for the puck. The draw is won by Priestley, the man who knows about winning. He's done that with the Sheffield Steelers, and of course back in the North American Hockey League, won the Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is Priestley. Priestley got the shot away. Ed Courtney will collect it off the boards. Sten, though, made sure he couldn't do anything with it, and this is Rubicek. Rubicek trying to go the long way around Falkenhall. They hold each other up. They'll allow Weaver to get it to Brabant. Brabant thought there'd be a man at point. There wasn't. Marco Sten hadn't got into the right position. It's a giveaway. This is T to win. Cycles it for Courtney. Held up now by Sten. Priestley looking to try and get it out in front again. Short to T to win. Win thrown off the puck by Rob Robinson.
Yeah, there we see Manchester's been caught for too many men on the ice. They do that very well, Manchester. I think they do that as well as any team in the league. They'll send players out on the ice just before the player on the ice comes off, and they do it all the time, and they sometimes get scoring chances out of it, and I think this time the linesman caught them on it.
It's going to be the first call against Manchester then in that case.
Yeah, it's over by here the player jumps on ice, and I don't think we don't see anyone has gone off the ice. They're caught momentarily. There's Rubicek going off. You can see him off to the left, but that's a good call by the linesman, and you know, the linesmen are supposed to watch for that. And I think, like I said before, Manchester do it very well in this ring, especially when they have you under pressure. They'll send guys off the bench before the players even come near the bench, and they hope they get away with it. But they do that often. I think it's a set play that they use sometimes, but they got caught there.
Stefan Kettler playing the puck too soon. It's going to be Richard Uniacke, former Steeler, who's going to serve the bench penalty. It's given against the whole of the Manchester team, and they have to choose who's going to take it. Richard Uniacke is the man they've decided is going to sit for 2 minutes. That's the power play performance for the Sheffield Steelers this season. Problem, of course, that they got is that the Manchester Storm pretty darn good at penalty killing. Best in the league. At home, they have a 92.9% penalty killing performance this season, Manchester. In fact, they concede very, very few goals at home.
Well, that's an unbelievable statistic, 92%.
Just 4 times have they been beaten this season at home on the power play. And that might have Frankie Pietrangelo. Of course, if Sheffield can take advantage now, we're almost halfway through, but if they can take advantage, 4-2, it's a different game, isn't it? Robinson. This is Blair Scott. Manchester now quite happy just to send the puck down to the other end of the ice. They have sent somebody in on the forecheck though. It's Brad Rubachuk. Rubachuk still trying to get a hold of that puck. Does enough to hold up Sheffield coming forward, at least there.
See why Manchester are so successful on their penalty kill. They're just, whenever Sheffield get into the zone, they've got a man on them very quickly, and they pressure so well and they support so well, and they just get that puck down, and then they're down. They pressure you again and again and again, and you just don't seem to have any time on the puck.
Goes into the crowd above Jason Hayward.
I don't think Sheffield got a shot on that power play so far. 28 seconds left in it. Even the Priestley line, who are so dangerous on the power play, they had trouble there, but they've got them back out again. Priestley, Courtney, and Longstaff, who I think has been their best forward tonight, really. David Longstaff. And McKee would love to get a goal now. You know, if it was 4-2, you'd think they'd still have a shot at this one.
There's David Longstaff back out there. Incidentally, the penalty to Jason Hayward is over. His 10-minute misconduct. He's available once again. Sat on the bench at the moment. It's Longstaff with Courtney and Ken Priestley, who couldn't win the draw against Brabant. Scott. And not much time left on the penalty. Not much time left on this period. Richard Juniak about to come back out. This is tail short. Can he get a shot away? Not on target. Back out in front. Nobody there. Up against the boards. This is Jablonski. Seconds ticking away. Brabant to Juniak. Juniak just time for a shot maybe. Juniak gets the shot away. It's saved by the netminder. And we actually have half a second left on this game. On this period, at least on the second period. So they're going to have the face-off. They'll drop it and then they'll go for the second break of this game.
Richard Juniak came out of the penalty box there. He hasn't had a lot of ice time tonight. He would certainly be getting more ice time if he was playing for Sheffield, playing for Sheffield again. But he came out of that penalty box and was surprised to get the puck. I think he didn't even have his chin strap done up, and I think he thought the period was going to end before he got out there.
Well, he didn't get too much ice time at Sheffield when he was there. He was released. He's now on the Manchester Storm, who are going to be celebrating winning later on. Dom McKee. There you can see Kirk Kleinendorf's the happier of the two coaches, of course, at this stage. And the Manchester Storm looking forward in 20 minutes play time to celebrating. We'll look back at the second period after the break.
We're at the MEN Arena as the Seconda Super League champions. Manchester Storm take on the Sheffield Steelers. Manchester leading 4-1. What about that shots on goal? Manchester have already racked up 31, and that's just after 2 periods. And Mike Blaisdell, that's pretty impressive going, isn't it? Most teams would be happy with 31 in the game.
Yeah, Manchester, when they get going in this rink, and if you allow them to skate, and unfortunately for Sheffield, they just don't have the manpower to slow them up in the neutral zone. So Manchester are coming up with speed, and they're gaining the zone, and then they've got some great shooters, so they move the puck so well to the open man, and they're putting a lot of shots in on the goaltender, and he's going to be a tired chap after this one.
Mike, I guess Dom McKee's going to be a little relieved, especially after those 2 quick goals went in for Manchester. It looked like things could. Well, they could run away with things.
Yeah, on this play, Manchester had so much pressure, and eventually they just found the seam here that passed through, and Rubachuk came out from behind the net, and Ed Courtney is a great goal scorer, but he's not known for his defensive game, and I think here he should have had Rubachuk tied up in front of the net, and again, the poor goaltender, it's not his fault. That puck comes through, and the puck should have been, or the stick should have been controlled. But here Morin comes down and just tees one up, and he gets a lot of velocity on that shot. And and perhaps the goaltender might have had it, but I don't think he's seen too many shots like that playing in the British National League, because this is just a cannon. He gets all of that one, and I think maybe the goaltender was tired from the shift before, because those goals came quickly, one after another.
Well, you mentioned Ed Courtney's defensive qualities, but there's no doubt about his offensive ones. This guy can score goals.
Well, he's paid to score goals, and he's probably the only guy in the league, or one of the only guys in the league, that's going to score on this play. He comes through, he makes a nifty little sidestep with the defenseman. Then when he shoots it, I believe it hit a stick or something. And we talked about it before. It's slowed up, and that's why it went past Peter Angelo. The puck It takes a funny hop off a stick or the glass here, comes right out. And, oh no, it's a little pass here. Priestley makes the pass. And then Courtney sidesteps the defenseman, Sten, and you know, there it is. Peter Angelo expecting the bullet from Courtney like he has, because he can really shoot the puck, but he took a little bit off it on that one.
But Sheffield certainly more competitive towards the latter part of that second period.
Well, they have a lot of pride in their locker room, and I don't think they want to get really pasted tonight. And you know, it doesn't do them any good when they come back in here on Sunday in the Challenge Cup, and they don't want to get Manchester thinking that they can actually win that Challenge Cup and come back. So, you know, there's a lot going on in the dressing rooms right now. I think Sheffield want to come out. They've got to go after them a little bit more, but at the same time, they don't have enough firepower or enough manpower to do it.
So 4-1 here. Let's catch up on all tonight's games. Cardiff leading London by 2-1 at the moment. Newcastle and Bracknell is 2-2 at the moment. Now, if you were watching earlier, you'll know we were offering you a chance to go for a VIP weekend here in Manchester for the playoff final weekend. Another chance to enter now. Nick has the details.
We have a pair of tickets to this season's playoff semis and final at the MEN Arena in Manchester. Accommodation will be provided on Saturday evening and will give you £100 towards your travel expenses. And you'll also be invited to the post-final party. You need to tell us who did Ayr beat in last season's playoff final. Was it A, Manchester, B, Cardiff, or C, Bracknell? Who were last season's beaten finalists? Manchester, Cardiff, or Bracknell? Call the competition hotline on 0660 116606. That's 0660 116606. Calls cost 25 pence, and if you don't pay the phone bill, please ask permission before you call. Lines close midnight on Sunday, and we'll announce the winner next Thursday. Good luck.
Yeah, great prize. Good luck with that. Back to the carnival atmosphere here at the MEN Arena, and Nick Rothwell is in amongst the fans. Nick.
Dominic, I'm down here on the new Super League champions bench, the Manchester Storm. Now, Dominic, we've seen some great hockey this season and some great fans as well. Now, they're great here at the Manchester Arena, and they've seen some great hockey. The hockey here is getting better and better. The players are getting bigger, faster, stronger, and more skillful every season. And I've had a chance to look back through our archives and check out the best material that we've seen. I've put together my top 10 hits, goals, and saves. And check out the #1 goal. It's sick.
But there's a joy of getting reckless in the garden in the sun. And a bit of late night TV channels 3 to 21. You see I like it on the outside, never in with all the rest. And the words of many wise men say, winners shine through best. And I feel alright, feeling the rise. Out of sight, mind and out of soul. And I feel alright, feeling the rise. Out of sight, mind and out of soul. That I feel alright, feeling the rise. Out of sight, mind and out of soul. That I feel alright, feeling the rise. Out of sight, mind and out of soul. I'm rid of the blues and the born again losers and the happily jokers who had had money ropers. Hey, got friends in the whole lot more. What are you gonna do? Gavin Sostin makes them.
There you go, a goal by the Nottingham Panther. The coach of the Panthers is here. Remember that one, Mike?
That was a beauty. That was really, I think the Sheffield defenseman was looking for some parts of his equipment there on that one.
It's been a tremendous season. Would you say the standard continues to get better in this league?
Oh yeah, it was. This has been the best standard I've ever seen in this country. The players seemed bigger and stronger. Subsequently, there was more injuries, I think, than any other year. But it was very, very good hockey this year.
And your personal highlight of the year?
I think when we beat Manchester to go into the Benson Hedges Cup, that was pretty exciting for us all. And
Yeah, you got a little bit excited, didn't you?
I was all of a sudden I thought I was a player again for a second. Then I had to run back to my bench and get back to where I'm supposed to be. But it was a real accomplishment for us there. We were undermanned and playing, as we could see tonight, a very, very good hockey team.
And you don't get many nights like that. Although we thought last week came pretty close in terms of the atmosphere, I must say.
Yeah,
anyway, it should be exciting. Come the playoffs, we'll see how Nottingham and the rest of them get on. Hope you're enjoying things here at the Manchester Evening News Arena tonight. Party atmosphere here, and Manchester Storm are leading by 4-1. Can they score more, or are Sheffield on the brink of a fantastic revival? We're back with the third period after this. Here at the MEN Arena, the Manchester Storm, the new Super League champions, lead the Sheffield Steelers by 4-1. Let's head back to Mike and Steve.
Well, these two sides have met each other this season more times than any other two Super League teams. Manchester Storm have won 5 of the 10 games they've had so far. This is the 11th. They're looking as though they're favourites to win this one, the Super League champions, then intend to have a real party when the championship trophy is given to them, but you never know. Storm 4, Steelers 1. Anything can happen, anything can change. And Jeff Tomlinson waiting to face off against Jason Hayward. Ron Shudra back out there, playing as a forward for Sheffield tonight. And one of those Sheffield players who's maybe not 100% fit, and I'm sure in a few weeks' time after he's really come back from his injury we'll see more from him. This is Hayward. Shudra was just waiting, never got the puck. It's back to Hayward, but picked up by Hoffman. Tomlinson working well with Jablonski there, couldn't quite engineer the way through though. And this is Sheffield Steelers again. Dare say whatever the scoreline is, the noise in this arena will steadily rise as we get towards the end of this period. And Manchester fans really start their party. This is short. Robinson for the Manchester Storm finds Blair Scott. We saw Blair Scott scoring an overtime winning goal against Bracknell Bees recently in a very important game that was on Sky Sports. He had 2 games against the Bracknell Bees, and that was the time that winning the Super League title was more or less confirmed. It was finally mathematically confirmed last weekend, of course. Courtney goes down. The referee doesn't call anything there. Sheffield working hard at the moment inside the Manchester zone, cycling the puck again to Priestley. Peter Angelo got his stick on that one. This is Weaver. Priestley turns it back across, no one there. And Rubachuk can come forward now, Manchester. Turns it into the corner. It's going to be Brabant who will chase it in.
I think that Priestley line with Courtney and Kovacs is the one line that Sheffield has that can really create some offense here tonight. And they look like they're wanting to get this team back in the game tonight. They had a good shift there and they got a little bit of pressure.
Peter Anslow well out of nets to deal with that one. Marco Stem. This is Mike Morin, scored with that great slap shot goal. Morin, his was the 4th for Manchester. Sheffield having to work hard here. It's Allard held up by Plummer, and the puck is not going to come out of there. The goals we've had so far, 5 of them, started in the first period with a power play goal. And it was scored by Jeff Jablonski. Second goal for the Storm, scored by Stefan Ketteler. Then 2 rapid goals, first by Rubachuk at the start of the second period, and 65 seconds later, Mike Morin's bullet. And just a glimmer of hope for the Sheffield Steelers. An orthodox finish, but the goal by Courtney leaves the score at Manchester Storm 4, Sheffield Steelers 1. Wilson. Longstaff getting the pass across, looking for Tommy Plummer. Shot coming in from Wynn. Manchester coming forward here again with Darren Hurley down the right. Hurley checked by John Wynn. This is Rob Wilson. Rob Wilson, one of a number of players on show this evening who are going to be going off to Copenhagen for the World Championships, playing for Britain. That's dumped in there. Andre Marlowe getting any ice time at all for the Sheffield Steelers tonight. He's another. Jonathan Weaver, of course, as well, from the Manchester Storm, and Dave Longstaff for the Sheffield Steelers also going on that trip. Stefan Kettler gets the puck back off the boards. Now this is Ron Shudra. Mr. Sheffield Steelers in many ways, Ron Shudra, been there right from the beginning. That's an offside call.
Yeah, you can see Shudra, he's missed a lot of hockey this year. He's trying to find his legs now again for the playoffs, and it's very difficult for a player coming off a knee injury like that. You know, Ron's a very skilled player, and he's a good skater when he's healthy, I'll tell you, but he's he's laboring a little bit still, and he probably still feels the effects of the injury, and also the fact that he's not really match fit yet. But the coach is smart in using him a lot tonight, trying to get him into real good match fitness when the real games come. And they've got a big one Sunday as well.
Against the Manchester Storm, they're 5 goals up from the first leg of the Challenge Cup final. The other game, as Mike Blaisdell knows well, is a little closer, with Cardiff trailing 3-2 going into the Nottingham Panthers. This is Jablonski. Comes away on the Sheffield side, as it were. It's Ken Priestley behind Craig Lindsay. Pass only finding Tomlinson inside the Sheffield zone still. Some poor passing at important moments from time to time by the Sheffield Steelers in this game. Kurt Klein-Dorst, the Manchester Storm coach, watching, waiting, hoping his side are going to get even more goals to launch an even greater party spirit. Kurt Klein-Dorst already knows he's picked up his first silverware as a coach, formerly with Valley Ice Caps in the East Coast Hockey League in North America. Kurt Klein-Dorst, a player himself, before that played in Holland.
Manchester controlling the play, even in their own zone. They've always got the puck. You can hear Klein-Dorst telling, he's very vocal from the bench, telling Weaver's got time on the puck there.
Win. Comes it into the corner, this is Weaver. Big effort, comes back off the boards, and Craig Lindsay happy to freeze it on that occasion.
I think we heard Kleinendorst, he's got a microphone on him tonight, and I could hear him saying that good job on the controlled forecheck. When Sheffield does have full possession behind their net, their Manchester seem to be able to create turnovers even when that is the case. And you saw Priestley didn't really have anyone to pass the puck to, tried to force one up the middle, and they intercepted it. And it's Manchester fill the ice very well, all the lanes, and they're any type of game they can adapt. I really think that Kleinendorst does a great job with this team. They're very, very well coached.
Rob Wilson. Manchester having to defend a little here as Ron Shudra gets the puck up the balls, and it might be a save, or it might go over the line, but this occasion Frank Pietrangelo is up to it. But Sheffield showing that they still have some offensive capabilities and they're still a threat in this game.
Well, Shooter makes a play across the net, and Pietrangelo gets a piece, puts it into traffic, and Haywood really could have had himself a goal there, but I don't think he expected that puck to pop onto his stick. But Pietrangelo usually freezes those. Well, look at that, he snatches it out of the air though. It's oh, thank goodness he's saved.
Shot coming in, and again it's that glove hand of Frank Pietrangelo, his left glove hand that takes the puck. There it is, and just allows the linesman to take it away from him.
Now there's a good view of the arena here tonight, the great atmosphere. You see everyone dancing. A lot of kids in here tonight. They have a lot of fun in this arena.
Well, I wonder what state they will be in when they get to school tomorrow, because there's a party to come after this one when Manchester Storm get the Monteith Bowl, the trophy for winning the Superleague. And that's definite, they'll get that whatever the outcome of this game. We've got 13 minutes and just a little bit more to go in this match, and it's already Storm 4, Steelers 1. It will take a big effort from the Steelers to get back into this game. That was a big attempt at a hit from Van der Horst. Hobson gets it down. Mike Warren trying to get a hold of that. This is Scott, can't keep it in. Manchester, though, with Scott, do maintain possession. This is Rob Robinson. Warren will chase it in. Wilson's in there. And does enough to make sure Sheffield were able to get a hold of the puck, but all they've done is send it down the ice so that they can change their lines, and they're bringing out Longstaff with Ken Priestley and Ed Courtney. This is Union. This is Ed Courtney. If anybody's going to get you a goal, this is the man. Priestley to John Wynn. Wynn tries to find Courtney down that right-hand side, didn't quite make it. Crowd level, just going up a little here as Weaver tried to get another one like that great goal we scored. Oh, that's hit the post for Marco Sten. So close. Longstaff. Courtney held up there. Stefan Ketteler. Bit more pressure here from the Sheffield Steelers now. They're sending more men in on that forecheck. Hurley. Stefan Ketteler, still Ketteler, saved by Lindsay.
Well, this game has opened up nicely. Sheffield are starting to try to score some goals themselves. But Manchester, that was a great play. I don't know if we're going to see a replay of it, but Jonathan Weaver brings the puck up on the one play. Well, here's a chance for Cacola shooting the puck from wide. Just before that, Weaver took it wide though and made a nice little play off his skate, and then reversed it back into the slot area here for the Sten, who just hammered that puck. Cleanly beat the goaltender but hit the goalpost. And there's that Hurley again in front. He's always in front of that net trying to create a screen.
Another save there from Craig Lindsay. He's let a few in tonight, but he's made some saves as well. He's had plenty to deal with. This is Jablonski, still Jablonski, and still Jeff Jablonski goes. Tomlinson trying to get a hold of the puck now, and that's Jablonski. Look for the wraparound, and there's a penalty call, a holding call, and it's going to be a power play coming up, and another power play for the Manchester Storm.
Well, here you can see Wilson gets his arms around Tomlinson, I believe it is. He's even got a stick on it. You know, you really can't do that. There it is. It's clear as a bell. He's got him by the. He's even got a hold of his stick and his arm and everything, and he twists him around. But it's just from the pressure, the constant pressure that Manchester can put on these people. And you know, one of the players that Sheffield really missed tonight is Andre Mallow, I believe. He's been a real good defenseman for them over the years, and he's very good at moving the puck, and I think they really miss him back there. The other defensemen are becoming fatigued with Shooter playing forward. You know, they're really stretching themselves to the limits, Sheffield, and you know, they'll need a day off tomorrow, but unfortunately they have to come to Nottingham tomorrow.
I'm sure you enjoy that one. It's always a great rivalry between the two sides. Tough end to the season for the Sheffield Steelers, as they seek to try and get that fourth spot. There's a shot coming in, plenty of traffic out there. Fourth spot is important because it would mean they would avoid Cardiff and Nottingham, and generally speaking I think the clubs aiming for a fourth spot, Bracknell, Sheffield and Ayr, would like to get that fourth spot and avoid being in that group. This is Stefan Kettler. Blair Scott has ripped the bant in the corner. This is John Weaver, plays well on the blue line. They use him on power plays in that position, back at a certain point. This is Scott. Scott back to Weaver again. Weaver with the shot this time. 45 seconds gone on this power play for the Manchester Storm. They scored on their first, but haven't scored since. The puck is frozen.
Nice work there again by Manchester, and again we've talked about them having the highest percentage power play, and the reason being is they move that puck quickly and it's stick to stick. And, you know, you don't see many passes in the player's skates or in behind them. It's stick to stick, and they pass it crisply. You know, it moves, the puck moves through the zone so quickly that the defensive team doesn't have time to react, and then they all can shoot the puck. Like every one of the Manchester forwards is a threat when they get the puck down low or even up high on the point. Their point men really shoot the puck well.
Miller. Thomason and Allard out there with Jablonski now on the power play for the Manchester Storm. We're going to come back for the face-off. It's going to be just outside the zone, is it?
One of the keys to one of the key players missing tonight for Manchester, we've talked about Sheffield's injuries, is Kelly Askew, and he would be out here on this power play, and he's another one that skates so well. He's the one that likes to bring the puck up the ice for them and game the zone, and you know, they miss him, but they still have so much depth in their lineup that they have two good power play units even with him missing. Kelly
Askew goes for surgery on his knee tomorrow. You'll actually get a chance to see him when it comes to the celebrations. He's dressed, he is on the bench, as is Troy Newmile, although neither of them are taking part in this game. Wanting to be part of the celebrations, of course, on this great night for the Manchester Storm. Sheffield Steelers coming forward though, T to win. Tried a bit too much as he wanted to get past Hoffman. This is Hoffman, 30 seconds to go on the power play, and this is a chance for T to win to show what he can do. Win. Again, the Manchester Storm defenseman doing well. Miller that time holding up T to win. And then he decides he's done enough. End of his shift, leaves Manchester to get on with it and come out of their zone, not under a great deal of pressure. This is Tomlinson. Passed it back to Jablonski. Ran into the Sheffield Steelers defenseman. And Rob Wilson about to come back onto the ice in this his 100th Super League game. Served the penalty. Hit there by Van der Horst on Morrison, an important one. Morrison again.
I think Wilson probably enjoyed having that penalty. He finally got a little bit of rest out there. But they did a pretty good job killing that penalty. Manchester got some good shots away, but Sheffield held firm.
Van der Horst was looking for Plummer. Sten. Hayward turned it back in the zone. Plummer couldn't play it. He was offside. Nine minutes left before the real celebrations get underway here. Sheffield Steelers, if they could get a couple of goals back, it would certainly raise the tension level in this game. More important for them to win it, of course, than the Manchester Storm in terms of the league placings. This is Shudra. Shudra turned it on the net. Kovacs able to get a hold of that one, and Marco Sten has it for Manchester.
positions,
We got
guys.
both teams changing. There's only one guy out on the ice with the puck here, and
What's that?
Manchester setting up.
I hope they do. We just got to be better at what we're doing.
Kurt Klein endorsed with some appropriate words. Scott with a shot and a touch by Weaver. Maybe got a touch on that as it went through, but Brad was way out in front as well. It's into the back of the net. It's a goal for the Manchester Storm, 5-1.
Well, here's a little scramble, and they find those men open at the back, and again, a Manchester defenseman, when he gets the puck, 99% of the time, the puck hits the net. They move the puck back here. He's got a little bit of time to let it go, but Blair Scott's another good shooter back there. I don't know, maybe Weaver touched it. We'll have to look at another angle, but yeah, it looks like Jonathan Weaver got a piece of that puck and with his stick and changed direction slightly, got it to go up over top of the goaltender. But Manchester just so dangerous when they get that puck down low. They find that man open on defense out near the blue line, and then they hammer it on the net. They've always got people moving to the net and creating some traffic in front of the goaltender. Make it very difficult on the Sheffield goaltender.
I seen the call there. Ninth goal of the season for Jonathan Weaver. Assists on that goal for Rick Brabant, and the man you can see there, Blair Scott, who had the initial shot.
Blair Scott came from Basingstoke, and you know, Peter Woods, I was talking to him last week, the former coach of Basingstoke, and he thought that Blair Scott was one of the key signings that Kurt Kleinendorf's made, and I have to agree with him. He's, you know, on a good team, he's really showing what he can do. You know, last year he was on a team that struggled slightly. There's Jonathan Weaver, good young, probably the best young British player in the country, has all the talent, all the skills, skates well, very heads up, and plays a real good skating game that the Storm style really fits into his style of play.
Scott again, this time nobody could deflect it past Craig Lindsay. He managed to hold on to it on this particular occasion, the former Paisley Pirates player.
Well, this Blair Scott's arms are going to be sore after this game from shooting so many pucks. He's getting shots every shift here, and there again he almost puts another one away for Manchester. There's those Manchester forwards again. They just come crashing to that net. They're hungry tonight. They want to score a lot of goals tonight. They must have bonuses for scoring some of these guys.
Still out there with Miller and Kettler out there with Tomlinson and Jablonski. Oh, that's a good save. Good reactions there from the netminder Craig Lindsay. He really held on to that one.
That's his third shot in about 40 seconds, and they're all bullets. They're all on net. I mean, you know, he's not even their key guy on the power play, but there's a guy that can really shoot the puck on defense.
Doesn't have to take the penalties in the style of play that Manchester play, I guess.
Yeah, here he goes. You can see his stick just bend. He gets everything on that. That's a good save by the goaltender. He's probably thinking, somebody please win a face-off and get out to this guy. I'm getting sick of them hammering the puck on me here.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about Blair Scott for the moment because he's gone off to have a well-earned rest for a moment or two. 7:30, and certainly the crowd are definitely enjoying themselves now. Stefan Kettler being chased in there by Ron Shudra. This is Tomlinson. Early on in the game, Sheffield were not particularly over-interested in sending players in for checking. It's not always an easy game anyway against the Manchester Storm because you do and you get sucked in and they hit you on the break anyhow. This is Wilson with the shot. Bounces back off the boards, comes right out in front. Matt Hoffman is there too. Oh, sorry, Kevin Hoffman. Matt Hoffman, of course, their player until recently. He's just been relieved of his position on the Ayr Scottish Eagles, last year's Grand Slam champions.
Yeah, that's another player that Ayr will miss him. He's a big, strong forward for them, and then with Byram gone for the season, that definitely hurts Ayr's chances.
Jamie van der Horst had a spell in Holland and has had his problems with injuries over the last few years. Also played with the Cardiff Devils when he came to this country.
Van der Horst is the type of player that will take injuries. You know, he throws himself at blocks shots. He hits everything that moves. he plays a very physical game, and that's going to take its toll. And you can see from his injury totals over the years that that style of play has affected his number of games played.
Double concussion was the most recent injury that he's had this season. Uniacke dumps it into the corner. Dan Hurley will chase for it, but it's Frank Kovacs that comes away with it for Sheffield Steelers. Again, they're quite happy just to play it forward. This time it's Manchester dumping the puck. Rick Brabant going in there, comes away with it as well. There's Blair Scott again, no time to shoot that time because Frank Kovacs was coming to run him in. Scott still got possession of the puck though, gives it to Hurley. Ken Priestley hasn't had an opportunity himself to get on the score sheet this evening. Ed Courtney has for the Sheffield Steelers. He got the 1 goal they've scored, but they're trailing by 5 goals to 1 with less than 6 minutes to go. The Super League presentation still to come here. They're already the winners of the Super League title, the Manchester Storm, and after this game they will get their trophy.
Sheffield try that play over here.
Well, this is Mike Morin skating through, gets it to Miller this time at point. Miller with a shot, makes the save, but it comes back out in front, and they couldn't stop the goal going in from Pierre Allard. Champions they are, winners in this game, they certainly will be. Storm 6, Steelers 1.
Well, I think if Sheffield are going to take a lesson from this game, it's try to pick up the points or the defensemen of Manchester, because there again, another clear shot from the point. Miller shoots it on net. The goaltender, the rebound goes out. Morin just gets a little touch on it across to Allard, and he's got probably the easiest goal of his life. There was no one within 4 feet of him, and he was looking at a wide open net. You can see Allard here all alone, and it squirts to him. Thank you very much.
From Montreal in Quebec, the French-Canadian Pierre Allard makes it now. 13 goals of the season for him, 6-1 in this game. Remember, they need to outscore the Sheffield Steelers by 6 in their game on Sunday to come back from 5-0 down in the first leg of the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. I'm sure it will be a different kind of a game though when it comes to Sunday in this rink. Right now it's party time for the Manchester Storm though. This is Mike Morin, one of the goal scorers this evening. And never ceases to amaze me how often Manchester Storm run up a big score and you get just the goals shared around so much. This is Manchester doing a bit of defensive duty now, getting it up to Mike Morin. Morin dumps it in the puck. This evening's scorers: Jablonski, Katola, Rubachuk, Morin, Weaver, Allard. Once again, 6 different players getting on the score sheet for the Manchester Storm.
Yeah, I think when they beat us 6-0 a few weeks back, they had 6 separate scores as well, and they've got a well-balanced attack.
Manchester coming forward looking for more goals to pile on the agony for their rivals from across the Pennines, make a point or 2 before the game on Sunday, and of course make sure the evening goes with a real swing as far as they're concerned. This is Cale Short, dumps it in. Sheffield have lost 4-0 in air this season. That was their worst defeat, but they're trailing by 5 here, so this could be their worst defeat of the season in almost their last Super League game of the season. They've got 1 more to come. That's in Nottingham tomorrow. And Mike Blaisdell is licking his lips at the prospect, I think.
Well, I mean, it's just, this shows a clear indication of what happens when you get a team with injuries, and they look tired tonight against a team that really wants to run the score up, and tough position for Sheffield to be in. I'm sure they'll be much, much better on Sunday.
Ron Shubro didn't get his stick on that puck. Peter Angelo to Stefan Katola. Oh, gives it away this time. This is Frank Kovacs, trying to get past Stefan Katola, who's holding him up, trying to make amends for giving him the puck in the first place. This is Ed Courtney. Van der Horst, and now Wilson. Wilson gets it into the area where he wanted to, but now Priestley. Sheffield will have to skate back. Van der Horst going back there with some assistance from the netminder. It's a good job that that wasn't picked up by Stefan Kepler. Coming forward, Courtney with a big shot. 2.5 minutes to go. Kovacs. Marco Sten, is there another goal yet for the Manchester Storm in this game? Tomlinson with a shot saved by Craig Lindsay.
Looks like Kovacs and Miller are disagreeing about something out there.
Well, there hasn't been a great deal of ill will in this particular game. There was in the previous game, the 5-0. There were quite a few penalties handed out in that particular game. Kovacs got a 5+ game in that match. In fact, Frank Kovacs thrown out of the 5-0 defeat in the first leg of the Challenge Cup semi-final.
Well, I think both teams, Sheffield especially, they can't risk anyone taking any unnecessary penalties, especially at this point in the game. They're not going to come back in this one. I think Kovacs was wise to just back off, and you know, they've got a big one in here on Sunday, and then the playoffs are coming. Cooler heads have presided there.
This is the final Super League game for the Manchester Storm this season. The playoffs, of course, to come, and the Challenge Cup semi-final. But they are going to round off the season with Richard Guniak trying to get out in front and get on the score sheet as well. And he gets hold of the puck and turns it around. Falkenhall will turn it away. Doesn't clear the zone, but 2 minutes to go before they round off the season in the kind of style they've shown us throughout the season. A 6-1 defeat in front of a huge crowd, a fitting end to their season, which started against the Sheffield Steelers with a 6-3 win, and they'll raise the trophy in just a few minutes' time now. Manchester Storm so successful this season in all respects. They've run into a bit of injury problem lately, but they didn't have too many injury problems throughout most of the season, but they have been the most consistent side without doubt in the league this season. Wilson, so going a little bit untidy for a moment or two there. A minute to go before the Manchester Storm party really kicks into action. Nobody has won in here bar the Cardiff Devils this season. It really has been a fortress, this arena, for them. They've got a great record on the road as well. Bar Cardiff, they're the only team that have a winning record on the road this season. Clock ticking down. A little over half a minute to go, and the roar when Manchester Storm complete this 6-1 victory will be huge, not just for the fact that they've got the victory, but for the fact that it rounds off a season that has brought the first major piece of silverware to the Manchester Storm, the biggest club in the country in terms of the arena, in terms of their support, and now they've got a trophy to back that up as well. Ten seconds remain. The crowd are already on their feet around this arena. The noise is building. A long pass through to Jonathan Weaver. Weaver won't get a hold of that one. It doesn't really matter. There is the end of the Super League season for the Manchester Storm. It's a successful season. It's a 6-1 victory. Kurt Quennendorst smiles on the crowd as well. And they're ready to really celebrate. The trophy will be presented in just a few minutes' time. And that is the team that has been the best in Super League this season, no doubting that now.
Yeah, what a great season for them. You know, they've had a little adversity lately. They had injuries, but I thought they came through very strongly right through the end. And there's the cup coming out on the ice. This place is just what a great atmosphere, and shows how the people of Manchester have taken to ice hockey.
Not easy for the coach of the Nottingham Panthers to say such things, I'm sure, Mike, but there is the trophy that everybody has been playing for this season. The Monteith Bowl, it's an antique, it stretches back to the 17th century, and that is the prize that they've been playing for. Ayr and Cardiff have had that in the last 2 seasons. Handshakes there from all the players concerned. Great rivalry between Manchester and Sheffield, but right now there's Kelly Askew, you can see there. He didn't play at all tonight. Let's go down and hear from the Manchester Storm winning Super League coach Kurt Quennendorst is with Nick Rothwell.
Kurt, what a great way to show the cup to your fans.
Oh, I know. I mean, we were actually very much looking forward to tonight, and I guess this is the beauty of not having won it on the road. We get to parade it in front of our own fans, and I think it's special that we can do that.
How did it feel to see the pennant going up?
It was almost needed a tissue, Nick.
No, you didn't.
Almost.
Now you got the win. No, this is a good way to head into the playoffs.
Oh, no question. I mean, this is nice. This was our 30th win tonight, and it's been a great year, and that we could end it on a high is really, really nice.
Now, I know you don't think that Sheffield are going to play like this on Sunday. They're going to come out a little harder.
Yeah, I think they're going to use a lot of what they did tonight, but probably with more energy. I mean, I can't imagine that they'll come out this flat, but you can see what they were up to, and they wanted to not have injuries tonight. They wanted to keep themselves as fresh as they can for Sunday, and I don't disagree with the way Don came in here and played. I think it's something that they're thinking will help them on Sunday.
Well, congratulations, Kurt. It's nice to follow you all season and finally do this. Well done.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks.
Celebration is still going on. Nobody, of course, has left this arena. The players out there celebrating. That's Craig Lindsay, who came into the Sheffield Steelers, and what a baptism for him in the Super League. He was coming into almost a no-win situation with the Manchester Storm. So strong in here, and on the night they rounded off their Super League season, their regular season, with a great victory for this large turnout of fans. Sherman, of course, a former netminder here in Manchester. That's Frank Pietrangelo, who has done so much this year to bring this trophy to Manchester. Brad Brubichuk leading the players around this rink, and there's Mike Morin giving Brubichuk a pat on the head. Brubichuk, the all-time leading goal scorer there for the Manchester Storm, getting a bottle of champagne to celebrate. But the big moment is coming soon when they lift that trophy. There's Frankie Pietrangelo, little plate there, little silver salver for Brubichuk. And waiting for the moment, right next to the cup, you can see Jack Flash. As far as this game is concerned this evening, the player that won the award as Seconda Player of the Match, Jonathan Weaver, a young British player, 22 years of age, from Sunderland, and a great player for the future, and he really has grown in stature in this team. We're going to get now a bottle of champagne for the assistant players. Troy Newmeyer didn't play in this game at all. Troy Newmeyer, he just sat and watched. He's got a bit of a shoulder problem at the moment. He's with Ian Taylor of the Super League. Troy Newmeyer and Brad Brubichuk getting the bottles of champagne. There'll be a few more in the dressing room, no doubt, to celebrate after this one. And I'm sure those two particular bottles won't find any lips, and they'll be sprayed around very shortly. That is the trophy. Trevor James, the sales director of Seconda, the sponsors of the Super League, preparing to present it already with the blue and purple and white and black ribbons attached to it. And here comes Dave Morrison, the captain of the Manchester Storm. This is their 4th season, and they've won the Super League with a record number of points, 65 points. They are the champions. And that is the moment that the crowd have came to celebrate tonight. Number one, almost throughout the whole season. They were knocked off top spot just a couple of times by the Cardiff Devils. They were the favourites before it all started. They'll be the favourites for the playoffs. Right now, they're just going to enjoy this moment as they parade the Monteith Bowl, this antique trophy, presented for the 3rd time and for the first time to an English club, following the Cardiff Devils and the Air Scottish Eagles. Manchester Storm are the best team in British ice hockey this season. It's official.
Well, what a great night for the Manchester Storm and for all their fans who've come here tonight to see their heroes in action. Mike Blaisdell, the Nottingham coach, sitting alongside me, applauding the Manchester Storm.
Well, they've just done a great job all year, and I really respect the discipline they've shown all year, and the fact that they They continued through their injury problems at the end of the year, and they played hard through every game. I don't think they took any games off, so to speak. They played hard every night, and there's a key to their win right there. Frankie Pietrangelo, he's a very big part of that team, but they were well coached. They were skilled in every department. They have a great crowd. Very tough to beat in this rink with this crowd. You can see it's an intimidating rink.
Right, let's hear from Manchester's captain. Dave Morrison is with Nick Rothwell.
Dave, lifting a cup, it's everyone's dream, but as the captain, you get to do it first. How does it feel?
It feels fantastic, and it feels fantastic to do it for such a great bunch of guys, a great organization, and as you can see here, a great bunch of fans. So yeah, I'm thrilled to death.
Why did I feel that was going to happen now?
I don't know, Nick, I think because you're a popular guy, but the boys are happy. The boys are really happy.
Let's go to Brad Rubicek. Brad, how does that feel?
Feels awesome. I mean, after last year, losing out there by 3 points, this is awesome. It's just incredible. I mean, I can't, I'm lost for words right now. It's been a battle since August. Guys pulled through. And number one, baby, number one. Woo!
Brad, they're going to take off. They're happy boys, guys.
Wonderful scenes. The champagne is flowing at the MEN Arena. Two guys who've been such an important part of Manchester's season. And what about the coach? What a great moment for him. He's a cool customer, isn't he, Mike? But he must be enjoying this.
Well, I actually played with Kurt in North America, and I know him pretty well, and I know he's thorough in everything he does. You know, he's the type of guy that he doesn't leave anything to chance. He's got he went out and signed, you know, on paper the best club in the country, and they proved it all year long, and they've been you know, a model of consistency, and they've really put Manchester on the map hockey-wise. You know, I mean, they got the great sports teams here in Manchester, the football, but now they've got another championship side here, and you know, they need to be good here, or they won't get the people in, because the city is used to winners.
I guess they won't even mind perhaps losing to you last week because it meant they could come back and have this evening here.
Well, yeah, it's good for them to have it in here, you know. I think it would have been even better if they had won it here, like won the game that won the championship,
sure.
But the fans don't seem to mind at all.
Sure. Let's hear from Rick Brabant. He's with Nick Rothwell. Nick.
Rick, you've probably won more silverware than anybody of these guys on this team, but how does this one feel?
They all feel the same. You know, it's hard to achieve it. Once you achieve it, you got to learn to appreciate it, because you never know when you're going to win it again. So we're going to make the most of it and get ready for the playoffs then.
It's going to be a tough playoff series, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 8 good hockey teams in there, and if you're not going to play on the night, you're not going to win. So, you know, we know what we're up against, and we know what we're capable of doing.
Turn around and get in that picture.
So the team photos being taken. And what a year it's been for the Manchester Storm. And they'll be able to take that picture home and hang it up on their walls and put it around the MEN Arena here as well. As everyone continues to celebrate not just tonight's achievement, but of course the achievements of the whole season. Jonathan Weaver. Such a performance by him. Mike, is there anything in this guy's game which he needs to improve on to go all the way?
Well, I don't think, skill-wise, he's as good as anybody. And, you know, he probably could be a little more, or take the rough going a little better on certain instances. But, you know, he's still young. He's going to get stronger. I think he's going to be one of the top players in the country soon. And he might well be that now.
Right, let's take a check on the other results then in the Seconda Super League. Tonight, the London Knights have lost to the Cardiff Devils 3-1. Manchester beating Sheffield, as we know, and Newcastle have beaten Bracknell. That's quite a result, isn't it? By 5 goals to 2, which means the Super League table looks like this. Manchester, as we know, have won it. Cardiff second, Nottingham third. The race is for 4th place there between Bracknell, Sheffield and Ayr. Newcastle winning tonight and London losing actually means that the London have finished bottom of the league, and Mike, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it, in their first season?
Well, you know, they came in full of high expectations, their first season in the league. You know, but it's tough. Their first season in a very good league. They may have underestimated the strength of this league, and that you do that at your peril, because this is a very good league, and you know, London needed to be better than they were during the league to get the big crowds and that kind of thing. But I'm sure they're going to turn it around. The franchise has good backing, and I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with. Certainly in the playoffs, maybe this year, but they'll be better next year for sure.
Okay, well, as the celebrations continue here at the MEN Arena, we should just point you in the direction of our next live ice hockey. Next Thursday, we begin our coverage of the playoffs. Our first game, we haven't decided on it yet, but it's Sky Sports 2 at 7:30 next week. Skytext page 331 let you know on Monday which game we're covering. Mike, thanks very much for being with us tonight. It's been quite a night for the Manchester Storm, hasn't it? And quite a season for them as well. They finished the regular season on top of the lot, and it's been another fantastic performance here tonight by the 1999 Secunda Super League champions. Well done to the Manchester Storm, and good night from us. Bye-bye.
Vanishing point, this beautiful snow makes angels. The closer you come, the warmer it became. I feel the rush of 1,000 tiny beats, fill the heart at once. Can you feel the rush? 1,000 beats, fill the heart at once. Feel the rush, 1,000 hearts, find a way out. Now I see doubt. Kiss the day goodbye, give it to the night. Everything is beautiful, kiss the day goodbye. Trip across the time zones, I move through the interzone.